Shalom, Yashrala. This your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to read this here quick article, make this a quick lesson, just kind of find it funny now that, how, I'll probably open up that scripture, but the scriptures say, about the prophecies, though, Terry, wait for it. All right. And this is, it's a beautiful thing in the times that we living in right now. All right. And also the scriptures also says, blessed is the man, or blessed are the eyes that see the things that you see. All right. Because it's a beautiful time that we living in. It's a horrible time that we living in, but it's also a beautiful time that we living in, especially for the men of the Lord. All right. For one, I would say, we waking up, but we can also see the things that's going on around us. We can read the writing on the wall. All right. We can pretty much see the bus coming down the road at the bus stop. It's raining outside. We've been waiting on this bus. We can finally see the bus coming. You see what I'm saying? We can see what time it is. So it's a beautiful time right now to be able to see all these prophecies speaking. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and read through this here article real quick, and I'm going to grab a couple scriptures and we're going to close out. It says, Iran's foreign minister recommends designating U.S. CENTCOM as terrorist organization and reciprocal move. All right, because what happened was basically, it'll go into it in this article. It says, after Washington put Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps on its terrorist list. All right. So this is pretty much what America's doing. They going around just like everybody else. It's basically the same strategy, different place. Same move, on a different person. All right. They start by what? Demonizing the people. Oh, Saddam Hussein is a bad person. He's killing his own people. He's got weapons of mass destruction. Then they go in and take him out. Muammar Gaddafi, he's a bad person. He's a dictator, and, he's ruining the lives of his people over there. Then they go in and they take him out. The same thing with Bashar al-Assad, over in Syria. Oh, he's killing his people. We got to go over there and try to take him out. Same with Nicolas Maduro. All right. Oh, well, he's over here starving out his people. Same with the Hebrew Israelites. All right. He talking about, oh, we hate groups and so on and so forth. All right. They have to so-called demonize you, or they participate in an information war. All right. Before they go into the real war, just like with anything else, let's say you as one individual got so-called beef with another person, right? Just one other person, but you don't want to go into this beef by yourself. So you want to get one of your homies or whatever to go into this beef with you, right? The first thing you're going to do is, before you actually start fighting with the person you actually got the beef with, is you're going to wage an information war on your friend. Hey man, this motherfucker over here talking shit, whatever, whatnot, man, we're going to go fuck this nigga up, right? So you planting the seed into this person's mind that basically, you basically demonizing the other person. Your partner, you over here putting into their mind how bad this other person is, gassing them up to put batteries in their back to jump on your bandwagon to help you wage war with the other people. All right. Same thing that the so-called white man does. All right. Just like how he's demonizing the Israelites. He's taking the rest of the population in America and trying to wage an information war on them to get them to be on his side when he comes to put a physical war on us. All right. Just like I said, in not Afghanistan, Iraq, and so on and so forth. They come out, oh, Saddam Hussein got weapons of mass destruction. He's killing his own people, but they wasn't touching them then. They was waging an information war, getting everybody on their side before they actually went in and waged war. All right. So this is pretty much like what America's doing. All right. This is what their plan has been the whole time. All right. This is nothing new, but they want to start, because their next move is what? Iran. All right. Or the ultimate move that they want to so-called get to is what? Iran. All right. Before they go into like Russia and China. But nevertheless, they got to wage this information war. They're not going to stop with this continual warfare all the way up until the end. All right. This was their so-called, a carnal game plan. What they was coming out. This is going to be, the future of America. We're going to go to war in these places, steal these here resources, so on and so forth. But nevertheless, as we see these things winding down, again, measuring the time at hand. All right, according to the so-called white man's timeline, he's about to fill his belly. He's about to have everything done. Once he can get up into Iran, that'll secure all his positions over there. All right, then he got all the other territories to pretty much wage war against what? Russia and China. All right, and it wouldn't surprise me that he would probably, in a carnal sense, if he had it on his way, he would try to so-called break China and Russia up and go one-on-one with one of them, and then finish him off with, finish Russia off on their own. But that's not how it's going to be according to the scriptures. But nevertheless, like I said, this is nothing new to the so-called white man. All right. Every move that he's making, all right, is further solidifying that he is the devil that the Bible speak about. He is the person in the Bible that's Esau, Edom. All right. Esau, who is the father of the Edomites. All right. The so-called white man. All right. Every move that he's making is pretty much showing forth that that is who, who the scriptures say that, Esau Edom is. All right. So this article says, after Washington put Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps on its terrorist list, the Iranian foreign minister asked President Hassan Rouhani to designate the U.S. Central Command CENTCOM as a terrorist organization. All right. So pretty much now, and this is what this lesson is going into. All right. Because not to say Iran was first of all, Iran is not a small country, but Iran is not like a little weak country. You know what I'm saying? Comparably to how the picture is painted over here in America. Oh, every other country is weak, besides maybe China and Russia, and they're really not even all that strong. If you're listening to these Americans, that's how, they will play it. But in reality, Iran is hell, I don't know if Iran has lost a war in a long time, put it that way. And, they're very peaceful people. They haven't been on a offensive attack in probably longer than America's been around. You see what I'm saying? So, but nevertheless, America's trying to propagandize them or demonize them. Oh, these are the number one supporters of terrorists and so on and so forth. This is the propaganda or how they deflect on everybody else. Just like how they say about the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the Israelites, they're like, oh, you niggas is nothing but thieves and gangsters and drug dealers and killers and criminals. But that's the so-called white man. Yeah, we might be selling a little bit of weed or a little bit of crack in the neighborhood, but who's got all the poppy fields over there in Afghanistan? Who's bringing opium over here? Who's selling synthetic heroin in pill form? Who's got all of America hooked on heroin or opiates? Huh? Why are your people dying? It's not, the most of these Edomites that's here that's hooked on this opium and shit like that. You see what I'm saying? Or this heroin and stuff. They didn't get hooked like that from just walking down the street and buying some heroin from Jake. First of all, Jake ain't smart enough to fucking produce heroin or cocaine. You got to be basically a chemist to be able to do that shit. All right. To be able to run all that. And speaking of which, not to go too far off topic, I heard a so-called black man basically break this down. This is an older black man that was kind of into that type of shit, and he would be considered a big so-called a drug lord, more or less to say, in the eyes of our people, they'd be like, oh, he's a drug lord, but nevertheless, he was breaking it down. He was like, yo, there's never been, basically a black, basically a black drug lord, a so-called black drug lord. All right. Because in order for you to be one of these people, let's say for cocaine, there's a huge process that go into manufacturing cocaine on a large scale to where you would need, I'm not exactly sure how they worded it, but it was basically like you need, some kind of chemical component that you can only get from the manufacturers that, deal with, how do you say, not oil, but gasoline, more or less. Like, once you refine the oil into gasoline, the gasoline product, you basically need that to be able to cut the product or manufacture cocaine. All right. And since none of the, and the only people who have something of that size or that large of scale, all right, would be basically the companies who refine gasoline. All right. It's just like you can't, no so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans without no kind of outside help from the government cannot run an organization like El Chapo and them had, where they driving semi-trucks over the border. Somebody has to allow all those things, all right? But it's the so-called white man that's actually behind all these things, but he's taking it and he's projecting it on our people. Look, it's your people that's doing these things, but in reality, it's really him, all right? He's really the damn devil, the deceiver. He's deceiving everybody, making them think that all the wickedness that he's doing is something that you're really doing, Let me continue on this article. It says, due to the clear support U.S. forces in Western Asia lend to terrorist groups. Let me read this again. It says, due to clear support, U.S. forces in Asia lend to terrorist groups and their own involvement in terrorist activities. The U.S. military in the region should be put on a list of terrorist groups in the Islamic Republic of Iran, Foreign Minister Mohammed Javad Zarif said in a letter sent to Rouhani and Iran's Supreme National Security Council by the ministry. All right, so let me read this first line again. It says, due to the clear support U.S. forces in Western Asia lend to terrorist groups and their own involvement in terrorist activities. Yeah. Where do you think, first of all, we can go back to Al-Qaeda. All right. Al-Qaeda was formed with 3 people. All right. It was, I believe, 2 CIA operatives, and the third person basically was a CIA asset. All right. Who you would know of as Osama bin Laden. All right. Or the person that they would make you think is that person. All right. But nevertheless, these 3 people who was all basically, one of them was a CIA asset. The other 2 was basically CIA. All right. They went over there to create a proxy army, which was Al-Qaeda, basically to fight a proxy war against Russia. All right. I believe in Afghanistan back in those days. All right. But nevertheless, they did the same thing, when basically after they took out Muammar Gaddafi. All right. They went up into Libya and Tripoli. All right, started arming, bringing weapons in and bringing them over to Syria, arming the Free Syrian Army, what was the so-called Free Syrian Army, which morphed into ISIS. All right, so this is what they talking about. Like, yo, it's due to y'all clear support, just like in Venezuela. All right, where they talking about the bridge attack or whatever, whatnot. Then it come to find out that, yeah, they were Venezuelans, but these was Venezuelans that was basically being paid by the American CIA or the American government in some kind of way that switched to that, you know, basically was working on the Colombian side, you know, under the direction of the United States to basically overthrow and help overthrow, being a proxy for America to help overthrow Venezuela or Nicolas Maduro. All right, so this is nothing new. This is they move their active how do I say, their so-called special move, man. They use these proxies, or they try to hit you from a distance. All right, they're the ones creating all these terrorist groups, but then again they trying to project this onto you with they how do I say, they deceiving ass tongue. All right, making you feel like, oh, you the problem, you this and that, when really they're the problem. You see what I'm saying? So it says there's been no official response to Zarif's suggestion so far. However, earlier the Iranian lawmakers threatened to designate some parts of the U.S. military as a terrorist group in response to measures taken by Washington. And really, you know, you can start with the CIA, the FBI. Well, the FBI is more or less like here, but you got like the CIA. The FBI is like a terrorist group organization, basically here in America. All right, CIA is damn near international and shit like that. All right, but nevertheless, you got the damn National Security Agency, the NSA as well too. You know, spying, international spying, and things like that. Then you also have just the American government, the flat out regular, or the American military. All right, sending drone strikes and so on and so forth. The fact that they got what they called CENTCOM, or I think this is CENTCOM, yeah. Central Command or Africa Command. You know, they got all these different command posts to where they all in these other nations. That's not even your land. What are you doing into these inside these nations? You're terrorizing the land. You're terrorizing the people. All right, you have your military over there. You say you bring in freedom or whatever, whatnot. But if you put yourselves in these people's positions, all right, you know how they say America's a so-called Christian nation, and we talking about Christianity that these Edomites follow. All right, the so-called Christianity that they push. But just put yourself in these Muslim shoes in these Muslim countries. Like, yo, dog, we got a different religion than y'all. We don't want y'all pushing y'all shit on us. We don't want our country to turn out to look like y'all country and be all fucked up like that. But the fact that you're going to come over here and impose, how do I say, your ideology on us at the force of bombing the hell out of us and demonizing us to the rest of the world, to me, that's a terrorist act. All right. That's just like if you flip it around the way over here, you know, for these regular ass Americans, one thing that terrify them is that, oh, ISIS or these Muslims might come over here and they're gonna behead us if we don't bow down to Allah or some shit like that. Like, well, in your mind, you think that these people trying to come over here and force their ideology on you by the force, you know, at the force by killing your ass if you don't convert. You doing the same shit to them. In reality, like, yo, if you don't want homosexuality or whatever in your country, if you don't want us to steal your oil or whatever, if you don't want us to invade your country or put up our own puppet leader, then we're gonna bomb your ass. All right, that's terrorism. All right. It says some top Iranian officials also suggested putting entire U.S. Army on the terrorist list altogether. Pretty much just like I was saying, man, because damn near every portion of all these things is pretty much a terrorist organization. You dealing with, you know, no matter how you break it down, whether you can't separate the CIA from the FBI, from the American government, from the American military, from the fucking the president to Joe Schmo that lived down the block. At the end of the day, the one thing that glue them all together is the spirit that's inside of them. They all Edomites. All right. This is why they gonna all, you know, get wasted, more or less to say. But at the end of the day, these people all know this is the damn devil, man. All right. It's not just one single individual. You can't just be like, oh, Donald Trump is the damn devil. And then, you know, the rest of these white people, it's just him. He's the evil one. No, it's all these motherfuckers, man. Every last one of these Edomites. That's why the scriptures say they're gonna all be cut off, because they all got the same spirit inside of them. All right. But let me continue on. It says earlier on Monday, U.S. President Donald Trump announced that Washington had officially designated the Iranian elite unit as terrorist organizations, accusing it of being a primary force behind Iran's alleged global terrorist campaign. All right. Which, again, this is that propaganda that they use. You know, regular Americans or whatever, whatnot, they'll see this come across the news and they'll be like, yeah, Iran, see, we knew that they was investigating and they found out they was terrorists. But what? Most Americans ain't never really seen no fucking Iranian. Like, you've never come across no Iranian person just walking up and down the street. Now, some places in America you might have, but for the most part, most of y'all ain't never really walked across no Iranian person, let alone have been affected by any Iranian people. You know what I'm saying? Or had any harm done to you by any Iranian people. You know, you feel more terrorism All right. So let's say for so-called black people, right? You've been terrorized more by your own people than by Iranian people. You damn sure being terrorized more by the so-called white man than by Iranian people. So for you so-called white people, you being more terrorized by Jake here in America, you know, on the lowest levels, you being, you know, attacked by Jake here on the lowest levels, you know, people talking shit about you. I mean, we taking it that low, you know, you got Jake, oh, fuck y'all, so-called crackers or whatever, whatnot. That's more harmful than what these Iranians is doing to you. You see what I'm saying? So really nobody here in America got no kind of complaint about no Iranians. They ain't really ever did shit to you. You wouldn't really know nothing about them or couldn't find them if it wasn't for the people on TV always telling you about these people. All right. So to put in the mind of the American people that you should be afraid of these Iranians or terrorists coming from Iran, you ain't never seen no Iranian terrorists. That shit didn't exist until these people put that into your mind. Like I said, that information war, demonizing these people. All right. It says Iran's top judge, Saeed Ibrahim Raisi, also lambasted Washington's decision, accusing it of supporting extremists, a country which has no other track record but arming, supporting, and harboring terrorist groups considered an official armed force of another country. A terrorist organization, he says, cited by Iranian's press TV. Exactly what I was saying, with all their bases in all these other countries. And what are they doing in these countries? They terrorize the land, they terrorize the people, they bomb the shit, they hell them back. You see what I'm saying? This is what the so-called white man does, all right? It's just like a fish, right? What is one thing for sure you can say about a damn fish? A fish is gonna swim. A fish, you know what I'm saying? For the most part, you're going to find a fish in water unless, you know, you can get real simple with it. Oh, I caught a fish and put him in the boat. But for the most part, one thing about a fish is you're going to find his ass in the water because that's his habitat is in the water. Same with Esau. You see what I'm saying? What's one thing you're going to know about him? He's going to be the damn devil, man. This is the deceiver. All right. It says, Racy also said that the U.S. move is likely to have no effect both in legal and political terms in the eyes of other nations. That's not the point. The point is to sit here and wage this information war on the American people to get them psyched up. So when they say, look, you know what, we got to go in and invade Iran, the American people don't get sick and tired of it. Because really, if they didn't do all this, the American people would be sick and tired of war after Iraq. All right. But then they talked them in from Iraq, weapons of mass destruction in 9/11. Once that went down, they was like, oh, well, bin Laden actually has something to do with it. And we think he in Afghanistan. Then they went over into Afghanistan. Then all of a sudden, Muammar Gaddafi became a problem. Then from Muammar Gaddafi, his country spiraled. Libya spiraled out of control. Then all of a sudden, Syria. All right. Bashar al-Assad's taking, hits onto his own people. But then now all of a sudden, we got to go over there. All right. Then now look at Syria afterwards. Now they got to go over to Venezuela. Venezuela's basically all right. They in a fucked up state, right? Let's just put it this way. Let's say you're $100 in debt, right? Now you done paid off $50 of that $100 debt. You still $50 in debt. So if you're looking at your bank account like, yo, bro, I'm still broke. However, I'm doing better than I was yesterday. All right. Because yesterday I owed $100. Today I owe $50, right? This is how Venezuela was, before Hugo Chavez. Actually, they was doing really, really bad. Hugo Chavez made it a little bit better for them. You see what I'm saying? Just like saying, look, you $120 in the debt. Hugo Chavez coming to power. You know what I'm saying? You pay off the $20 into the debt. You still in debt. So you're still doing bad, but you're doing better than you was before. Nicolas Maduro coming to office. Now you done paid off a $50 debt. You still in debt. You still doing bad, but you're doing better than you was beforehand. So yeah, you can look at Venezuela as, yeah, they kind of fucked up right now with the economy, so on and so forth, but they actually getting better than where they was beforehand. And all this started from America propaganda and America terrorism, and everything is going into there. All right. But ultimately you have these other countries that's not going to sit back and take it how America's moving. Venezuela is pushing. Well, first of all, we can start with Syria. All right. Syria was pretty much like the turning point, because before Syria, America was just running through nations, and, it was always mission accomplished at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Over in Syria, it's pretty much, they trying to keep quiet on it. They had to leave running, but they tail tucked between their legs because of why? Russia came through there. All right. They was attacking with the cruise missiles from out in the water. All right. And hitting, actually ISIS. They was actually taking out ISIS, which was America's proxy army, which was costing America money. All right. Then they came in with the damn S-300 system over there, put a no-fly zone over in that place. So what? Now America's like, you know what? We don't even want to take it there like that. We're going to just go ahead and move to the next spot. Bashar al-Assad is still sitting on top. Now they over in Venezuela thinking it's going to be an easy move for them. But now Russia bringing their ass over here. Like, it's not going to be that easy, bro. So we not taking this shit no more. All right. So now all these countries are now starting to so-called stand up to America. Beforehand, they wouldn't even move their lips against America. They would just bow down and do whatever they tell them. But now things are starting to change. And now all of a sudden these countries are standing up for themselves. All right. So I'm going to grab some couple scriptures real quick, and we're going to go ahead and close out. All right, we're going to go to the book of Isaiah. You know, I could probably actually read all of this through. I'm going to read the most part of this through. But let me read the points that I wanted to grab out first, and then I'll read it kind of all the way through to give you a more, how do I say, clear picture of this scenario, all right? Let me see. This is, let me 16 and 9, I think. Yeah, I'm going to read Isaiah 14 and 16 first. It says, they that see thee, all right, shall narrowly look upon thee. Now, this is talking about Babylon the Great, you know, which is America, all right? So these other countries are now looking at America because you got to understand, Babylon in the scriptures, you know, Babylon the Great, this is this big, glorious kingdom. This is the shit. You see what I'm saying? Like if, shit, I don't even know how to compare this. If you have, all right, so in the music industry, right? Or whatever, whatnot, right? You have all these so-called tops or whatever, whatnot. Man, this person was the best, this and that. But I mean, it's clear as day that Michael Jackson is so far above anything else ever that there is. Like, yo, you can compare people. Oh, this was the greatest. This was the greatest. But then once you add Michael Jackson, like, oh, he was way higher than all of them. Or let's say with rap and hip hop, you can be like, oh, this person was the best. This person was the best. This and that. But then when you come to certain people, like, well, Tupac, like, yeah, he was in a kind of a different category. You can't compare these people to those people. They're so far up and so far ahead out of the, you know, ahead of everybody else. They're not even comparable. So yeah, you got great countries and this and that. But America, by far, comparably to all these other nations, is nothing like it. All right. So this is Babylon the Great. But now you have these smaller people looking up. You know what I'm saying? Like I was giving the example of the musicians. You might have somebody that is as great as, like, let's say, who is somebody, I don't know, Bruno Mars. I don't know how big he is, you know what I'm saying? But let's just say Bruno Mars, right? People could be all over him. Oh, he's this and that. You know what I'm saying? Now you have, like, let's say Bruno Mars is the smaller nations. All right, looking up at Michael Jackson, like, man, I idolize you. I'm this and that. I'll never be like you. But now you got the young bull out there saying, look, I don't give a fuck about Michael. I'm going to show you what I do. I'm about to put him to shame. Let me go ahead and stand up for myself. I'm not living under your shadow no more. All right. So this is Babylon the Great being that big monument. You see what I'm saying? But now you have the smaller stones looking up at it, you know? So it says, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdoms, that made the world a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners? All right. So these smaller nations is starting to look at America like, yo, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? Let's go back a little bit. Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? That pretty much solidified. That was pretty much like that move where you see like Debo, right? Where Debo roll up on your ass and you like, man, I ain't tucking my chain, this whatever, whatnot. And he knocked that one motherfucker out and everybody's talking, you know what? Let me get right. Let me tuck my chain. Fuck that. I'm gonna hide all my shit. Everybody know from experience now. So when they dropped those bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that pretty much put everybody in subjection. You see what I'm saying? America had them rose to the top of their pinnacle, right? But now, and nobody wanted to go against them. But now all of a sudden you having these smaller nations. I mean, it's one thing for Russia and China because, you know, they actually powerhouses. But for smaller nations, you know what I'm saying? They're just like, you know what, man, fuck y'all. Rodrigo Duterte in the Philippines. You know how small the Philippines is? You see what I'm saying? But now all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? They're like, yo, man, fuck Donald Trump, man. You're not going to tell me who I can buy guns from and who I can't buy guns from, bro. If you wanted to say something about it, you can come over and say something about it. But you're not going to tell me what I'm finna do. Now, the Philippines ain't big as shit. It would be nothing for America to just go over there and wipe them off the face of the earth. But what? These people are standing up now. You know, they looking at him like, wait a minute. Is this the nigga that's over here fucking up? Is this the illest nigga in the game? You know, you the one over here fucking up everybody's shit. Like, you the main problem in the whole world. You the reason we can't have safety and peace and security on the planet Earth. You the reason why we got to have all these militaries and defense systems, because nobody else is really invading nobody like that. It's only your ass doing this shit. We all need to protect ourselves against your ass. Nobody really destroying the planet Earth. You don't really have terrorists on the planet Earth. You don't really have dictators on the planet Earth. You don't really have bad guys on the planet Earth. You got these damn Edomites. Y'all the problem. Y'all the ones that make up all of this shit. And then you try to make it seem like everybody else is the problem. There's no such thing as terrorists. It's the so-called white man, these Edomites, all right, these Americans who's creating these damn terrorists to make you feel like that there's a problem so they can come in and bring you the security. All right, this is an old mob tactic. You got you a little business in a neighborhood. The mob come through. They keep breaking your windows out, but they never let you know that it's them that's breaking out your window. They keep breaking out your windows, whatever, whatnot. So they send Paulie down there, be like, yo, listen, we're going to offer you some protection. I know you keep getting your store broken into, but look, you pay us off and we'll offer you protection. Make sure this shit don't happen no more. You start paying them off. They just stop breaking your window. So now they just put you in subjection. They taxing your ass. You see? And this is what America has been doing to all these other nations, you know, putting terrorists down just so that they can go over there and exterminate them, eradicate them, or making these nations poor so they can go over there and give them loans to pretty much entrap them. All right. But now all these other nations are looking up at America like, wait a minute. You are a fucking problem. You the reason we all fucked up. You the reason the whole world fucked up. You the reason everybody is in calamities against one another, man. All these nations are looking at America like, yo, man, you the problem. All right. Let me jump up to verse 10. It says, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? All right. So now you seeing this happen with these, like I said, these smaller nations or these so-called weaker nations in the eye of America. Right. So again, in that example, America being like, let's say Michael Jackson. All right. And Michael Jackson is the shit, whatever, whatnot. You got somebody small like a Bruno Mars or whatever, whatnot, or just some no name person. And they coming up and they, you know, they over here shitting on Michael like, bruh, is that all you got? You only sold 100 million records? That's it? Bruh, let me show you what I'm finna do. So now these other nations, they getting, how do I say, they, what is that word? Where they getting a little, you know, they losing that scariness. They starting to, stand up for themselves now. You know what I'm saying? But now, nevertheless, you starting to see all these things come to a head with one another. All right. And Russia's also in the background. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like, cause Russia and, Iran, they have an alliance. I believe there's a port that Russia has over there in Iran. All right. So again, they're not going to just let this shit happen. All these other countries aren't going to let these things happen. All right. So let me start back up here at the top at verse 4. It says Isaiah 14:4. Thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how has the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. And that's pretty much like the spirit that the men of the Lord are in right now. We rejoicing right now, talking shit like, you getting weak. Them knees is finna start collapsing. Your ass finna go down for the count, bro. You know what I'm saying? So now that's what we doing. Thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon saying, how has the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. Like, wait a minute, nigga. How come y'all can't finish up a little simple ass world? Like I used to say this beforehand, like, wait a minute. How is America struggling with motherfucking terrorists that they ain't got no real organization, no real weaponry, no real equipment, no real resupply? They can't really resupply. You know what I'm saying? But you struggling years on end to fight a motherfucking, basically like a street gang. You know what I'm saying? This is like the equivalent of the American military trying to fight the Bloods and the Crips. Like, yo, you can't take them out? Like, what the hell? They don't got planes and shit like how you got. They don't got radars and tanks and shit like you got. So if you struggling with them, how you gonna sit here and wage a war against an actual military, an actual country with a military, let alone a actual country with a military with allies? You see what I'm saying? Like, yo, you becoming weak, man. This is the men of the Lord rejoicing over Babylon the Great losing steam, man. This is the end for America. All right. It says Yahweh have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. Hey, man, that rod of rulership is being broken out of the so-called white man's hand. All right. He getting sloppy with his sword right now. He's making all these mistakes. So he don't even realize that he don't got the same power or clout that he had beforehand. He, like the scriptures say, the part of thy heart has deceived thee. Yeah, because see, look, you that dude, you was like a Mike Tyson, right? You was that dude who got in the ring and was knocking motherfuckers out in less than 2 minutes. Every fucking fight that you got into, you knocked somebody out before the end of the first round. You've never went more than one round, right? You just knock them all out. You got 100 wins and 100 knockouts, all in the first round. So you feeling yourself some kind of way. All right. But now all of a sudden it's like, yo, you getting kind of weak, getting kind of tired or whatever, whatnot. And you starting to see, you starting to see, you getting a little sloppy. You know what I'm saying? Now you used to knock motherfuckers out in the first round, but now you going second round, third round. You kind of struggling to stay in there. You getting all hugged up a lot now. You getting a little tired. You getting a little weak. And now some no-name dude who just got like 2 fights in the game, he didn't knock you down for the first time. So now, you know what I'm saying? You getting to the point to where Mike Tyson is getting into the time where he getting in there with Holyfield, you know, where it's like, damn, man, I can't beat this dude like I normally be beating people. You getting to that point. This is where America's at now. You know, you normally get in there, you hit him with the that left hook or whatever, first round knockout, 30 seconds. It's 30 seconds flat. It's over with. You know what I'm saying? Now you go in third round, fourth round, fifth round, sixth round, seventh round. Now you got to end the fight with you know, you win basically by the scorecard. You know, you didn't win by a knockout or nothing like that. You won by the scorecard. Y'all went, you know, the full duration of the bout. All right. Now you getting to the point to where you get knocked down quite a few times and you still winning the match, but you get knocked down. It's getting bad for you. And we starting to see, we out there in the crowd like, yeah, man, we've been waiting on this motherfucker to get weak, man. He didn't went on a 100-win streak or whatever, whatnot. Now he getting tired out there. There's only going to be a short amount of time before the right person come in there and knock his ass out, man. And it's not going to be long for him to be on top, man. He about to go. All right. It says, verse 5 again, Yahweh have broken the staff of the wicked. You know, that support, you know, like a staff. You need like if you got crutches or whatever because your foot broken, that's holding you up, or a walker or a stick to help you walk is helping you to hold you up. So what's helping hold Esau up? All right. The thing, what was he blessed with? The scriptures say in Genesis that by thy sword thou shalt live. All right. So now his staff or his support, the thing that's allowing him to live is slowly being taken away from him, which is his sword. This is why he's having these military problems and he getting weaker and weaker out there. And these other nations are now saying that they're becoming stronger. All right. It says, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. All right. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth. All right. Now, this is basically like in the movie Friday, right? Debo then went through and was bullying everybody the whole damn movie. All right. And then finally, when Ice Cube knocked his ass out, I think his name was Ezel, rolled up on him and started running his pockets. Now, Ezel, or the one dude, whatever his name was, he was like the little crackhead and he was like up under Debo. He was scared of Debo and whatever whatnot. Whatever Debo told him to do, he would do it. But now Debo got knocked out from another dude on the block. His whole power basically failed him, right? Now, the people that was scared of him start running through his pockets, all right? So now, it's like nobody coming to your aid. Debo got knocked out. The dude that he had up under him that was following him, or, you know, basically he had on a chain like he was punking him, that dude didn't come to his aid. He'd be like, nah, hell nah. You know, or another example, you a slave on a plantation, all right, and the master in the house sleep and the house start burning down. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? And that slave thinking like, damn, that's my master in there. I should go save him. That's the so-called right thing to do. But you know what? Fuck that. I'm not going in there. He did all this bullshit to me. Let that nigga burn. You see what I'm saying? That's what's going on right now. America is starting to go down and you starting to see what? Other prophecies starting to take place. All right. How does it say? The beast shall hate the whore. All right. So this is slowly also taking place as well, too, because in all these skirmishes, America's starting to lose their allies and their relationships are starting to go sour. This is all a part of what? Their sword, their hedge. They got a sword extension. This is like that extended clip inside the bullet or inside the gun, you know? Yeah, they got their military and their sword, but they also using their allies as that extended clip, you know? Verse 7, it says, the whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon saying, since thou art laid down, no feller has come up against us. So yeah, like these other nations are going to be like, yo, man, once America go down, you ain't got to worry about these other nations trying to run up into their country and steal from them. All right. All the nations on the earth right now, if they defending their country, they basically defending their country from America. All right. You got some scenarios where, you know, they're defending themselves from other countries, but it's pretty much a proxy war from America. You know, you got like Saudi Arabia waging a proxy war and shit, but it's basically back from America, right? And then you also got like Israel that's waging wars on its neighbors and shit like that. But at the same time, that's Amalek, which is a tribe of Esau, Edom. This again, it's the same people. And who's their crutch? Who is their staff? America's their staff. That's you know what I'm saying? You can't have that one small little country in the Middle East surrounded by all these people that hate you, and they all got first of all, their countries is way bigger than your country, and they got militaries that's way more, how do I say, sophisticated than your shit. So first of all, they wouldn't even have no military if it wasn't for Britain, all right, to begin with. Then America came to hold them up. So again, these other Edomites are their staff, but what? All these things are being broken in front of them, all right? Verse 9, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirs up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It has raised up their thrones and all the kings of the nations. That's, hey, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee. Just like when America went over into Iraq, right? The kings of the earth was lifted up over there. All right. You got Saddam Hussein that was uprooted. Muammar Gaddafi that was uprooted. They tried to uproot Bashar al-Assad. They tried to uproot they're trying to uproot Nicolas Maduro right now. So all these kings got to pretty much basically either abdicate their throne, basically like get up and bow down, or you gonna take them up off of their throne, which they talk about what they call regime change. You trying to take this king up off of his throne, man. And hell from beneath is moved to meet you. That means death and destruction. It's like you coming with death and destruction and taking these kings up off of their thrones, man. All right. Verse 10, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? All right. And that's now what's going on, because you trying to debo and stiff arm everybody. But now they like, hold up, motherfucker. You ain't gonna just come up in my block like this and talking this, and that. Nah, hell no, nigga. This shit ain't going like that no more, bro. I'm tired of you punking me. I'm tired of you taking my lunch money, bro. You done took all I got, bro. Now the last thing you gonna have to take my breath from up out of me. You see what I'm saying? That's where these countries is at now. Like, well, if you're gonna nuke me, you're gonna have to nuke me, motherfucker. But we ain't bowing down no more, man. We tired of you destroying our people, man. But it's ultimately, it's the Lord that's putting these spirits and directing the spirits of these here kings to do all this. Because why? It's all written in the scriptures. It's all prophecy. This is why the men of the Lord are out here telling you before it happens and filtering these things in the news before they happen. We've been telling you about this before it happened. We just now reading through the scriptures and showing you this was all written. This is all the plan and the will of the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. All right. Verse 12, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weakest the nations? Now, real quickly, Lucifer going into what? The light bearer, the enlightened ones, what they would call the Illuminati. Not how you would think of as the Illuminati, but just the enlightened ones, the people that's in the know, the people with all the wisdom, knowledge, and power. The basically like the wizard and the Wizard of Oz. He would have been the enlightened one. He had everybody else under control. He was controlling all of them. He was enlightened and know that he was just a small man behind a curtain, but they was all manipulated by the smoke and the mirrors in the front. All right. But nevertheless, the enlightened ones, the ones that know what's going on. All right. That's basically what they mean by Lucifer. And who is Lucifer at this point in time? They got a group called what? The Illuminati. Some people call them the elites, the higher ups, the ones that's running all this shit. The Rothschilds know way more about everything than you. They got a different education system than what you got. You think about this and that. Oh, you're supposed to go get a job. You learn about the economy this way. They learn about the economy a completely different way. This is what set them up on top and keep you on the bottom. All right. But now this is being switched onto us. We're now becoming the light bearers. We're now becoming so-called Lucifer, the enlightened ones. Because why? We're telling you they whole plan. Like, they don't know what their future is going to be. Some of them might know what they're going into captivity. But nevertheless, that would be the higher ups. But for the most part, some of these people don't know what the hell they doing. They don't know what path they going down, but we telling them before it happens. We giving them the information, just like the rest of you people that are watching, that don't know what's coming. We're out here telling you the same thing. We like the spiritual weather forecast, letting you know that it's going to rain, But back in the days, the so-called white man and his elites, they had the number one news weather broadcast. They was the ones bringing out the weather and all this to snap. But what? We wound up getting a blessing. We wound up getting a so-called bag. We wound up getting some money and getting together. We wound up buying our own studio. All right. Then we wound up going out there reading the weather, and we wound up giving out better forecasts. They can give you a 2-day forecast. Man, we can give you a 2-month forecast. This is all metaphorically speaking, but nevertheless, how they can predict the weather or forecast the weather and let you know what's coming up before it get there. We doing the same thing, but we telling you a lot further than what they see. All right. We got the full 360 degrees of knowledge, how they talk about 33rd degree, whatever, whatnot. Hey man, the Most High gave us all wisdom and knowledge of all these things. All right, we have an unction to know all things. All right, they only know what the Most High allowed them to know. That's why he's talking about the part of thy heart has deceived thee. All right, Esau gonna get caught in his own trick bag. He gonna be deceived by his own pride, thinking he gonna do this and snap. But he's being deceived right now, thinking he can invade these countries. But it's not gonna end like that. All right, verse 13 For thou, let me go back up again. It says, how art thou cut down to the ground, which did weakest the nations? All right, going back into this here, Lucifer, who, it's not the damn devil who's going around bombing the whole Middle East and the rest of the world, putting chemtrails up, this and that. It's the spirit of the devil, but what? Who is the human beings that's actually doing this? The end all be all. You can round them all up. One thing they all got in common is they all Edomites. It's the one thing they all got in common. You stop breaking them down into groups. It's this faction of the Illuminati, or it's the Rosicrucians, the Jewish people, these folk, man, the elite bankers. They all Edomites at the end of the day. That's the one group that they all fit in. All right. It says, for thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit upon the mount of the congregations in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. And that's exactly what the so-called white man is doing, trying to be, like the Most High in all his ways. Verse 15, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. So like I said, the so-called white man, the part of his heart is going to deceive him, man. He's going to get caught in his own trick bag. Verse 16, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdoms, that made the world a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners? Now it says here in verse 16, it says, is this the man? We still talking about Lucifer now. All right, just to clear that up, because why? Who is the man who destroyed all the planet Earth? Who made, it says verse 70, that made the world a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof? What man did that? The so-called white man with his bombs and shit like that, dropping fire from the heavens and things like that, man. The so-called white man, all right? And it says that opened not the house of his prisoners, all right? Now, what does that mean? Lucifer. We talking about Lucifer, right? Now, did Lucifer not open up the gates of hell and let all these people out from being burning up and this? Nah, talking about the so-called white man, all right? Who did not open up, that opened not the house of his prisoners. Talking about here in America, all right? They brought us here, over here in cargo slave ships. We still slaves unto the white man, all right? When you go up to the top, we was just reading, talking about sitting on the congregations of the sides of the north. Hey, man, he's still reigning over top of us, all right? That's why, and he's going to do that all the way into the end. That's why when Yahushua come back, he's going to deliver us, like the scriptures say, they shall take them captives whose captives they were, all right? And they shall rule over their oppressors, all right? All these things, we're going to be taken out of the hand of our captors, all right? And then we're going to put them into captivity, all right? But this is the same person who's not opening up the doors of the prisoners, all right? Verse 18, all the kings of the nations, even all of them lie in glory, every one of them in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with the sword that go down to the stones of the pit, as the carcass trodden underfoot. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed the land and slain thy people. Thy seed, the seed of the evildoers, shall never be renowned. Yeah, they're not going to go down in the grave like, they're not going to be buried in shit like that, because why? This place is going to be turned into the damn lake of fire, man. All right, you can't cleanse, like if you spill blood on the land, man, the only way to cleanse that land is by spilling your blood on that land. So what? You're not going to really be buried over here, man. In an hour, these thermonuclear missiles going to come through and waste this whole place, man. You're going to become a part of the land. All right. Verse 21, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land nor fill the face of the world with cities. And that's what's going on right now with this draft and all these different things like that. They making all these military moves to get more and more people into the service. Why? Because this is preparing slaughter for the children of these damn Edomites. All right. And 2/3 of our people too, man. All right. They're going to go over here in this damn military and none of them going to come back. All right. Let me read the next verse. Verse 22. For I will raise up against them, saith Yahweh of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name. So he's going to cut Babylon off from being a nation. Like you ain't going to know about Babylon no more. All right. And the remnant and the son and the nephew. Now this is all talking about what? Sperm, the seed where you can keep going. Right. So let's say, I'm going to keep it a little carnal. Let's say a so-called black woman, right, have a baby with a so-called white man. Well, let's say a Judite woman, right, a so-called black woman have a baby by a so-called white man, an Edomite. That child is now an Edomite, all right? But if a so-called black man, all right, a Judite man have sex with a so-called white woman, an Edomite woman, that's an Israelite child, because the seed go follow along with the father. All right. But here it's saying he's going to cut off the remnant, the son and the nephew, meaning all the seed line. All right. And then there's another scripture saying about the widows, they're going to mourn. All right. But there's not going to basically be nobody to comfort them, because they're going to lose all their men in war. All right. Talking about bringing them over. They're going to be all cut off. All right. So preparing their children for slaughter. This is what the this preparation is being done for. All right. Verse 23, I will make it a possession for the bittern, the pools of water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, saith Yahweh of hosts. Like I said, man, you're going to become a part of this here land. When that besom of destruction, that sweeping wind, all right, of thermonuclear destruction come, you're going to become a part of this here land. Verse 24, Yahweh of hosts has sworn, saying, surely have I thought it, so shall it come to pass, and as I've purposed it, it shall stand. So it's not going to want, the Most High has purposed this out. This is his will. This is his script. All right. And we can't do nothing but, how do I say, go according to the script of the Most High's movie, man. He's the director, the producer, and all this. We just actors, man. All right. And just like in any movie, if let's say you watching a movie about, let's say you watching Bad Boys with Martin and Will Smith, right? Let's say Will Smith decided he wanted to be a crackhead or whatever in the movie. Like, well, bro, we wrote you in the script to be, one of the main characters and to be a police officer. You can't go do your own thing. If you want to be a crackhead on film, you need to go find another movie that has that role written in there. But for us, we need another person to play another cop. So it's either you're going to play this cop or you're not going to be in this here movie. All right. So that's how we are right now. We have to play the roles that the Most High put before us. And the role of the so-called white man is to be destroyed in what? World War III and thermonuclear destruction. All right. Verse 26. This is the purpose. Yeah. Verse 26. This is the purpose that is purposed upon the whole earth, and that this is the hand that is stretched out upon all the nations. For Yahweh of hosts has purposed it, and who shall disannul it? And his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back? Like I said, this is the Most High script, and who's going to edit his script? He's the script writer. You can't edit the Most High script, all right? But nevertheless, this is all a changing time and a changing game that where all the tables are being turned, all right? So this is, I'm going to close out with this. Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it shall surely come and not tarry. Like I said, man, it's a beautiful time that we living in to be able to see all these things, because what? We've been reading about these prophecies and hearing about these prophecies, but now they all starting to come to pass right here in our face. All right. And that's also letting us know that we all, like the scriptures say, learn the parable of the fig tree. All right. We starting to see the figs falling off the trees. We already know what time it is. All right. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out. Lord willing, this here was edifying into the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Arkin, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say stay strong and shalom.